This PSA was brought to you by the Peter G Show.
You may have second thoughts after this show.
Don't drink the faucet. We're really talented. We should get Oscars.
Just pick out a car, for Christ's sake.
No, hi, my name is Peter.
Yeah, I want.
Here's
Yeah.
Adam Perry.
I need to get back in the genie bottle.
Louis from Pennsylvania, you're on.
He likes it.
It's showtime.
Peter G Show, Peter G Show, divorce dad, single dad, divorce dad, single dad, Peter G Show.
It's showtime. Hey kids, what day is it? It's showtime. Wednesday, Life of Peter G, the Peter G Show right here. Give everybody a minute to start tuning in. I know they're anxiously awaiting, as I do. How the hell is everybody? Wednesday, September 21st. Happy fall, y'all. Well, that's tomorrow. I like when they do that. When we're down in the Gulf Coast, it's happy fall, y'all. That starts tomorrow. Fall. I can't wait for the bitching to start for when we change the clocks in another month from now. And it gets dark at 5 o'clock. Every year it's the same shit. It's like Groundhog's Day. Bitch for about 2-3 weeks, and then you just buy into it. And before you know it, it's over. It's spring again. And it's like, it's cold, I'm cold. And then I'm too hot. My porridge is too hot. This one tastes just right. Speaking of just right, Life of Peter G, the Peter G Show right here. I'm glad you're tuning in. My name's Peter G, and we got a lot to go through tonight. We got a great show tonight. I got Coach Dave on this show. That's right. Coach Dave for you. Help you get your act together. A lot of people are shy, but we're not here to be shy. We're here to share stories and give you the why. And that's what we're going to do tonight. So I'd go get your adult beverage or popcorn or whatever the hell it is that floats your boat and have a nice seat. And let's have some fun tonight with some informative education. Okay. So that's what I do. I want to tell you real quick about the next couple of weeks. Next week, Wednesday, September 28th. Does anybody remember Fran Martel? Blonde, relationship issues. Anybody remember her? Because that show was inches from derailing because her ex called up. He figured the whole show out and found the number and called the show phone line, and I put him on. And it got kind of deep. I'm bringing that show back up next week because I'm starting to shift gears. As we're starting to go closer to the holidays, I'm going to start talking about relationships. You know, we do a lot of positive stuff right now too, but we're going to talk about relationships and divorce wars and all of the above, and then getting through the holidays because it's tough for a lot of people. But I'm mixing it up, but it's all about life, and that's what everybody goes through. So next week, Wednesday, September 28th, Fran Martel, the show that you want to watch because it'll prepare you for the show that's coming up on October the 5th. October the 5th. Boy, oh boy. I got a doozy for you. Valerie from the Gulf Coast, newly divorced, and she's tanked up and pissed off, and she wants to share her story. And I'm, you know what? I'm going to let her because it's good education for a lot of people. Her story is pretty deep, and I'm not taking any sides or anything, but I'm going to let her tell her story. And I promise you not to disappoint because only going from the little bit that I've gathered, it's like I'll need therapy after the show. So I would stay tuned if I were you. But that's October 5th. Valerie from the Gulf Coast is going to talk about her newly divorced situation and everything that led up to it and where she's going from there. But we talk about these things because it is life. And, this whole show started because about divorce and single parenting. So why stop now? And she's a parent. But like I said, it's a nail biter. And don't say I didn't warn you. Anyway, okay. Podcast. For those of you who watch the show, I deeply appreciate it. But for those of you who are on the go all the time, like I normally am, it's great to be able to take the Peter G Show on the road with you. Put an earbud in your ear, Google Peter G Show podcast. You can find it on one of the 20 different platforms, Apple, iTunes, Amazon Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. It's not iTunes anymore. Spotify, you name it. It's great. It's the next best thing to be in there. I love when you watch the show, but if you can't, take the podcast with you. I'm telling you, there's dozens and dozens of shows. There's plenty of them to float your boat and keep you entertained. I promise you that. But we are. Oh, Jenny Patricia. Well, Dr. Jenny. See, I got previous guests watching. Love it. Just catching that. Happy birthday, Michael. I'm getting some comments right now. Hope you enjoyed the last year. This one's going to be a doozy. I promise. But anyway, all right, without further ado, let me bring Mr. Leisure on real quick. I got to talk to him about a couple of things. But ladies and gentlemen, I know that you're anxiously awaiting his arrival, and he's arrived in one shape or form. But here he is, ladies and gentlemen, your friend, the moment you've been waiting for, and mine.
It's the Peter G Show.
Yeah, it's the Peter G Show. Glad you can make it.
Yeah, just barely, right?
Yeah, just barely. Well,
a lot of changes.
Yeah, a lot of changes. No, I'm talking about, you were off last week because, and let me remind you that, and real quick, and unless there's something you want to bring to the table, which, you got anything for me?
Yes, today is International Peace Day.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
For real? Or are you bullshitting me because I just got through yelling at you?
No, you didn't yell at me. Did you yell at me? If you did, I didn't listen. Anyway, today is International Peace Day. So please, everybody, really, let's try and be kind to everybody else.
Okay, International Peace Day. You heard it here first, folks. Pepsi says it's International Peace Day.
Well, let me tell you something. International.
Okay, well, last week, and you missed it because you were out celebrating, but last week was National Sober Day. Well,
I was out celebrating.
Yeah, it was National Sober Day, and I'm going, and I said, son of a gun. I go, the one day I want to talk to you, and you can't come in. I'm busy. I'm busy. And then I started figuring it out because I did some soul searching again. And I go here. And then I found the perfect clip. I go, here's really what your problem is. And so sit here. I go, this is what the problem is with Pepsi. Now pay attention, all right? Because otherwise you're going to be needing Coach Dave. Here you go.
Paula, would you please christen the ship?
That's not the one. Where the hell are you? Oh my God! I thought I had it together. Okay, here we go. Sorry. This is believe me. Sorry, I was all worked up and ready to go. Here you go.
You need a job.
No, I don't want a job.
Well, I know.
There's so much work.
And can I play it again? Did you notice? Okay, there's me, there's Doctor, and then there's Pepsi. Okay. Okay. No, one more time. I don't want you to miss this.
You need a job.
No, I don't want a job.
Well, I know.
There's so much work.
Caught it the first time.
Pepsi, can we do this? What are you doing? I just got stuff to do.
You know how it is. You know how it is.
Yeah, I do know how it is. Okay. So anyway, I got Coach Dave waiting.
Coach Dave.
I'm Tom. Coach Dave. So save up any of your thoughts in case you have any questions at the end for Coach Dave. But I'm gonna bring him in, and because I know people are anxiously waiting for the real part of the show, not just us. And so that way we can hopefully inform with a little bit of fun. But I just want to remind you again.
You need a job.
No, I don't
Well, I know.
It's so much work.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Well,
Coach
all right,
Dave.
so yeah, there you go. So sit tight. I'll get back to you.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. I love that. I mean, you have no idea how real this is, right?
You need a job.
No, I don't want a job.
Well, I know.
It's so much work.
Welcome to my life. All right. Without further ado, I want to bring on my new friend. We had a good talk today, and he's going to bring some insight for you guys, but he's a life coach, Coach Dave. You know, he believes that sometimes everybody needs a little bit of guidance and a little understanding, and we're going to pick his brain and see what's going on, and again, share some stories, because we all have stories. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Coach Dave. How you doing, Dave?
Happy Peace Day.
Happy Peace Day, exactly. Peace and love.
Peace and
Peace
love.
and love. Yeah. How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad you can make it. We did all this stuff, put all these arrangements together months ago, and it always, sometimes when we get down to it and I start getting a hold of people and going, hey, remember we got a date coming up, and a lot of people are like, oh, I forgot and I'm busy now, but I'm glad you made the time to be on this show, because I think you'll be doing a service for everybody, because I like what you have to talk about, and it's important stuff.
I appreciate that. My motto is, when Peter G calls, I'm there.
Ah, bless you. Yeah, Pepsi's laughing. Oh, look at that shit. Yeah, laugh, Mr. Funny Man. Just keep on laughing. Anyway, yeah. Actually, the real terminology, what that was, when Peter G calls, nobody listens. It was like falling on deaf ears, especially, especially that one right there. There he is. See, bad. Anyway, I called you and talked to you because you're a life coach, and I haven't had a life coach on the show in probably a year and a half or so. I had a female life coach on, and I think that sometimes we forget that not everybody's got their act together, and not everybody can think through their own issues, even though they're right in front of their face. And sometimes you need an outsider to point a few things out if you're open to constructive criticism and, to some new ideas and things that you just might be missing. I mean, I always say that you can, especially with family, you can talk to family till they're blue in the face and they're not going to listen to you, but they'll take the same exact information from a stranger and pay for it, What do you think?
I agree 100%. One of the better examples of what you just said is the fact that we're not allowed to operate on our own family. We're not allowed to be psychologists to our own family. What was another word? We're not even allowed to sell our own houses. The real estate people, you have to get out. I'm going to sell it. You know why? Because we're too close to it. And that's the same thing that happens with what you're talking about. We know ourselves too well, or at least we think we do. And so to get all this work done, to try and do what we think is best for ourselves, we do not have that 3,000-foot view of clarity without all of our excuses, our little boxes, our safeguards, everything that keeps us safe, that doesn't really allow us to get out there and grow. What we do as coaches is help to bring that up. One of my favorite sayings is, I don't know what's best for you. You do. But I know how to help you go in there and bring that up. That's what we do.
Wow. Yeah, I get that. I mean, again, you're right. We are too close. And it's like, why should I listen to you? You're your closest friend and all that. But yet you can take advice from a stranger that may totally not know what the hell they're talking about. So, how do you differentiate common sense from, the real thing? I mean, unless it finally just sets in and you have enough common sense to say, okay, they're making sense, or I'm just grasping straws and grabbing anything that some stranger will tell me.
We know. Do you ever have a feeling inside of yourself when something is right or something may not be right? That intuition, that sixth sense, there's a knowing. And when we hear something, it's right. You've done enough in your life that Sometimes it doesn't make sense, but you got to turn left here. Even though your vision's out over there, something's telling you to do this. That's your truth. We all have that if we are aware enough, honest enough, and brave enough to listen to it. Because I believe that inner voice is always right.
You know, it took me a long time to get that inner, like, trust your gut, so to speak. You know, that first initial feeling, even though you get a bunch of feelings after that, it was the first initial one that you go, God, I know I should have gone with that, but I didn't, because I kept thinking about other things and going with something else that I created in my own head that felt better, that I thought felt better. It's hard to learn to trust that initial, whether you want to call it spiritual or mental, however you want to call it, but there's a real lot of truth in that.
You nailed it by saying that you felt it. And then you nailed it by saying we thought about it. Because when you start thinking about it, then you're justifying it, and you're reconciling it, and you're figuring this out, and you're putting it all up into here, and there's other people's opinions coming in, and there's what ifs. But when we think about it, that's where we get into trouble. So listen here, feel that, go with it.
Yeah, I get that. Let's back it up a little bit, because I want to talk about who you are, where you came from, and what got you to where you're Coach Dave now. Because, you know, as you go through life, a lot of changes. I know you're a musician, you know, and things change sometimes that you never think would change. But I mean, how did you get up to where you are now? And you're not just like, you didn't just pick it up and say, hey, you know, I'm going to call myself a life coach. You went through the motions to make sure that you have the credentials and all that kind of stuff. And you really put yourself out there for professional environments and professional people that they should, you know, possibly take, you know, your thoughts and opinions and apply them. So how did that all start?
How did I get here? We go through life and we go through a lot of different things. Born and raised in Cincinnati, Midwest kid. Spent some time in Boston, played some rock and roll, did the family thing, spent a little time in high tech, had like a real job. Found my way into Southern California, got lost along the way because I wasn't listening to me. I was trying to do what I thought everybody else needed me to do for them. So I followed that path. Crashed and burned in a big way. I'm a poster child, did you know, for the crash of 2008? That was me on that poster. Lost it all. Hung out with Bobby McGee. Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. So there I was. And able to start putting myself back together the way I want to, doing what I wanted to do. Took my spiritual journey, started playing again. One thing that I've learned over all of these lives, all of these adventures I've had, the one thing has been constant is me. The one thing that's been constant is I've always liked people, one-on-one mostly. I love to talk to people. They've always thought they could talk to me. Part of my journey was a spiritual journey. So I started doing that. I became a spiritual counselor. And I started a business. Couldn't get a job. Started a business. As I started finding that inner wisdom that I talk about, the one that belongs to me, I rediscovered my passion that I want to help other people. And when that became consciously aware to me, it was like the heavens opened up. It was like, you know, here you are. You want to be a coach. That's what we've been waiting for. And there's a saying that says, when you make a decision, the universe conspires to make it happen, and everything just fell into place, just like it's supposed to. School came in, money came in, some time happened. It was beautiful. It's been the right choice for me. I've not regretted a minute of it since I've gone this path. And I'm really pleased at this point in my life to be doing something that really helps people find their own inner truth, help leading them to a better version of themselves so that they can lead a better life.
And how long have you been a life coach?
Full time, I sold my business about 1.5 years ago. Again, I've been doing semi-coaching for about 10 years.
And this stuff just doesn't happen overnight. I mean, this has been a process from what I gather. I mean, you just don't don't do it. I mean, you have to go through, number one, I think you have to go through a bunch of shit to get to where you're going, and to get to, to realize, well, this is the path I'm going to take, even though I thought I was taking that one. And then you start pursuing it. So you just didn't start off and take the 6 week, here I am course. I mean, it was a process over several years, and now you're full on.
Right. The back of a matchbook, I send it in, and now I'm a life coach.
Oh,
No,
cool.
I went to school. I'm certified. I've got a couple of accreditations from the International Coaching Federation. I continue to up my game. I continue to stay plugged in, continue to learn, because I continue to coach, because it's all about learning, and it's all about keeping your skills up. You're a drummer, right? You got to keep playing your rudiments so that when you get into the game, you actually have game to get into.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, speaking of the college, Matchbook College, I was considering I was going to be a Slurpee machine repairman from Matchbook College, but the courses were all full up, and Skunk Wrangler was next. But so then I fell into this. I don't know. They say, come on in.
Someone's got to do it.
Yeah, they go, you look stupid enough. Come on in, and let's go for it. So, all right. So you've been doing this, and you took it to the point to where you're saying, you know what, I'm going to do this seriously. To the real deal. I'm not. You've gained wisdom, experience. Something led you to be able to share it because you've accumulated things, and now you're taking this knowledge. And who are you working with, and what types of people and things like that for this?
I want to clarify something. You say I've accumulated things. What I've accumulated is life. What I've accumulated is curiosity. What I've accumulated is patience and the ability and the desire to listen to somebody deeply, to listen to what it is that they're saying, and help pick out little nuggets of something that they say, kind of hold the mirror up. You just said that? Or, when you said that, I felt that didn't ring true for you. How does that work? So that it's a lifetime of accumulation to be able to use the tools that I got through my training. Does that make sense?
Oh no, it makes total sense. I mean, we all, I'm sure you can honestly say you're not the same person you were when you were 30 years old. 20.
I don't present as the same person, but I think that the core of who we are follows us through our life. Wherever you go, there you are.
Yeah.
It's when we were 20, we were having way too much fun. Then 30, we're starting to calm down and find what would be like a life. But the who we are, I've had people say, I went to a old reunion, you're exactly the same as you were in high school. No, I'm not. Because I agree with you there. But we have an essence of who we are, that we have a tendency to lean in a certain direction. You and I, we're both musicians. You play drums, I play keyboards. We're different people doing the same thing. So everyone has their own little spark that makes them who they are. And when we do things like listen to our parents or try to get a job in order to, do what we have to do, and that's not what we want to do, but we're willing to do the responsible thing, but our light isn't shining.
Music. I've grown up with a lot of musicians, and you got the guys that I thought I was going to play with, forever, and they didn't last but a year or two, and it really wasn't for them. They like it, but they're just as happy jamming at home in the garage once a month with, a couple of other friends, and they're happy at that. I've met guys that I thought were great musicians when we were young and growing up, and they found these girlfriends that they met while they were gigging, and slowly but surely those girlfriends pulled them right out of it like it wasn't happening. You ain't doing this no more. And they subsided and they gave it up. I was the guy who thought I'd never, ever stop playing. And I'm kind of in a hiatus right now because the show is consuming me, and I intend to bring music into this show, but it's gotten very hard. But the thing is, I go and see some of my old friends and they're going, dude, how do you do it? And you're not playing anymore. How can you stand it? And it's like, I don't know, but this gift of what I've transformed into, it's still making me pretty happy. But music, it's kind of hard to put down if it's instilled in you and you have that never say die.
a lot of these people who are doing other things because, like you say, their wife or their girlfriend pulled them away, they're not being honest to themselves. So there's something about them. There's this great say, and with you, I'll get back to that in a minute, but with you, you're doing what your heart has told you to do. You are bringing all of your Peterness into this endeavor, and that passion and the way of looking at the world. That same you that played drums is now the same you that's doing this, because that's who you are. But it was your choice to do it.
Yeah, and I'm not through, but the thing is, I never thought I'd slow down, because it used to be, even if I took a hiatus and didn't get, you know, with a guitar, you can noodle while you're on the couch. Drums, it's a little different. You just really can't, you know, and it's very, and they're noisy, and so I never thought I'd step away, but, you know, I did take all my Peterness, you know, and it is the same me. Just I'm doing a lot more up front now than I am from, you know, being the backbone. But you know, but I mean, there's a part of me, that fire has not doused out yet, and I will never, and you know, I can never settle, so to speak. And some people can, and God bless them. We need everybody to do a little bit of something, but it separates who's going to be, because they say 1 in a million in all entertainment. It's one, you know, and there's a reason for it, because it's tough. You know, it's tough. When I started on this, we started at 0 again, you know, and it's not like, hey, here I am, world. It's a lot of push and consistency, but I love the business. I mean, so it's all really about entertainment, because I love the entertainment aspect. I just found a way to share. I'm hoping to do some good at the same time while doing this, and bringing people on to help me do that, such as yourself. But tell me, you know, who are you helping? Pretty much. I mean, you working with businesses to improve, like businesses or leaders, or just regular people who need somebody to lean on? I mean, who are you working with?
A business coach is like a sports coach, and they look at what you're doing, and they, you know, like you got a batting coach who's going to say, okay, ready, just put that elbow back a little bit and wait a little bit. They look at what you're doing, they tell you what to do. Business coaches, they look at all the stuff you're doing, and they say, well, if you do this and you do this and you do this, you can expect a good ROI. What I do is I help people help themselves. I'm not going to tell you what's best for you, because I don't really know what's best for you, but you do. So what I do is I help you get the best you out of you, so that you can do your life the best way that you can. I'm working with people, mostly individuals. I've worked with a lot of women. I'm working with more men now. I feel that guys are woefully underserved in the coaching industry. And a lot of it's our fault. We were raised in a society where we're not really supposed to talk about our feelings. We were raised in an atmosphere of being strong, of being solid, knowing what we're doing. And we're just regular people, quite honestly. And we have the same problems and same issues, same doubts, same fears as everybody else. I think that the male species is starting to come a little bit out of their shell and willing to talk to somebody in order that they can become a better version of themselves. That's who I'd like to help.
Are you finding yourself working more with men or women? I mean, how's that all, you know, do people come to you? You know, it's like, how do they, you know, I know how they can find your website and all that. We'll talk about that. But I mean, people have to have that desire, because a lot of people are quiet. Like, they keep things to themselves until they explode. It's like, so you got to have somebody who's willing to go looking for some help. How do you get all that? Men, women, who will reach out to you more?
Lately, it's been men. I do a lot of networking. I do a lot of, you know, getting up in the morning and going to the breakfasts and introducing myself and being constant and being me. Because when I was doing windows, it was easy. Your windows are dirty. I can clean them. Okay, go do that. What I'm doing now is a little more personal. People have to be vulnerable with me if they really want to get the benefit that they can. So as I go out into the world and present someone that you can know, like, and trust, after a while, people, and it has been guys and it has been men, mid-30s, mid-40s, up to about the mid-50s right now, are willing to come out and talk to me about what it is that's going on with them, and letting me sort of help guide them towards a much calmer, more peaceful resolution of what they're going through at this time.
Because to me, getting people to open up can be a double-edged sword. You either have the person that will throw up all over you, because they want to be heard. They need some, which is a good thing. I mean, I think people want to be heard. They need to be heard. But you got a lot of people that just won't talk about, and they just keep it all inside them until it gets detrimental and sometimes even too late. I mean, I know you can't save everybody, but you do. So do you do more local stuff, personal one-on-one, or are you doing things via, the internet nowadays where you can pretty much talk to anybody in the world?
There's a lot of noise out on the internet. I'm not really a big noise maker. I'm more of a one-on-one guy. And so one of the things you said is getting people to talk. It's not so much that I try and get people to talk. It's more that I allow them to talk. I create a safe space. I create an area that people feel comfortable, confident, and safe. And then that allows them to access themselves. And it's a little more of a vulnerable thing, but spiritually, we all have all the energies in us. We have all the male energy, we have all the female energy. It's all in here. So as guys, and maybe we can give thanks to some of these big sports figures who think it's okay to cry up on the podium and stuff. The male of our species is starting to feel that it's okay to feel. It's okay to share and to learn and to grow. Some of our greatest, biggest, most successful stars have gotten coaches. Bill Gates has a coach. The band Metallica, they have a coach. Oprah has her own coach. Who's the guy that's Wolverine? Hugh Jackman. After he was successful in Wolverine, he got a coach. And it was whatever was blocking him from his authentic self, because he's actually quite a singer. His coach helped him with his self-esteem, helped him with his path, and he became the guy who did the movie The World's Greatest Showman. When people are willing to be vulnerable, when they're willing to see that there could be more and that there's something in the way, and they're brave enough to go look at it, those are the ones that get coaches. Those are the ones that become extremely successful in their life, living their life with the best version of themselves.
Okay. Well, here's the question I got for you, because are these people that are coming to you, I mean, because even no matter how, even movie stars, actors, and this and that, sometimes I find you don't know how screwed up they really are. I mean, just because they're acting on that's probably their most comfortable space. They're probably more uncomfortable being themselves than they are not being somebody else. But
Yes.
are people coming to you because they know that they have an issue that they want to overcome, or they're just kind of just having somebody just kind of keep them directed? I mean, I don't know if that's, to me, it's two different things, but what do you think?
Generally, people come to me because they've got something and they know they want to overcome it. I've had a number of people have come to me at the end of grief because they don't know what's next in their life. They just know that there's something next and they're ready to go face that. I've had people come to me because they're messing up at their job. They can't seem to get it right. They're going to lose their job. Can I help them? Yes, I can. I got people that I'm working with who are starting their own business, and they want to make sure that they go at their business the way that they know they can, and that there's nothing inside of them that's going to get in the way that's going to keep them from being successful. We are generally our own worst enemy. And if we're aware of that, then we can get in front of that before it happens and find the kind of success that we see for ourselves.
Do you get people that are just flat out that say to you, hey, I'm just not happy? And you go and you say, why? I'm just not happy. I mean, they're not happy with themselves. They're not happy with everything going on in their lives. I mean, where do you start on that whole thing?
You got to ask questions, because happiness is not the cause. Happiness is the effect of something else that's going on. Why are you not happy? Relationship, work, passion, or lack of all the above. And you start asking questions and you find, what is it that's really sticking in your craw? What is it that's really between you and your happiness? It's the space in here where, when we ask the questions, and then this is where a lot of my training comes in, the way you listen, the way you get curious, the way you ask questions, it's very important. Then their clarity starts to come up. And a lot of times, especially when I'm just not happy, then all we can do is shine a flashlight in the fog and take that next step, because that's all we can see. Okay, now we got this step. Now what? Let's talk about this. Let's do this. Then we do the next step. And every little step, the next thing you know, you're where you want to be. But you got to take that steps. You got to do the work.
Do you get people to where you see that they're covering over everything? You know, they're just to douse out their pain internally or whatever. They're just covering over themselves, whether, you know, and it's like, you know, how do you get them to get that clarity back, to make them stop, to where they can, you know, go, you know, you got to start somewhere, because burying yourself or drinking yourself under the table or something like that, I've seen so many people go down because of that.
If they come to me, or when they come to me, and we have agreed that I'm going to coach them, then we have an agreement that I get to ask them the hard questions. We have an agreement that I get to say, hey, dude, what? You know, you're messing up. You're giving me stuff that isn't real, and I'm calling you on it. And that's really where a lot of truth happens. Because when they realize that they can't, because you can fool yourself all you want. That's why it's not very good for us to coach ourselves. I have a coach, and they help me get over stuff that I can't see for myself. That's what we trust that other person to do. That's why you have to have trust in your coach. Because I'm not going to let you get away with your shit. I'm going to call you on it. And then you're going to answer me. And then I'm going to call you on it again. And then that light's going to start to shine. And then your world's going to get brighter. And there's this saying about a rising tide raises all boats. So if you're working over here, say on your business, your family life is going to get better, because the common denominator is you and how you're showing up in the world. It's energy. We're all energy. So it's another thing that I do is I watch for your energy. And if you tell me something, and you're kind of like this, that's not good energy. I call you on that. You know, hey, yeah, I really enjoy my job. BS, right? So, and then when you're talking about something else, and then you're all like this, you're doing like that, then that's a good thing. But as I'm saying that to you, I don't even realize I'm going that. So a good coach says, when you said that to me, you really lit up. Oh, wow. I guess I did. So that's where a lot of the ahas and the insights happen.
What about, do you ever get to the point with people to where you've figured, you're thinking in your head, this is beyond you and they need clinical help? Because, you know, there's a lot of mental issues with a lot of people, especially in men, depression and things like that. And it's very sad, and you don't know it, and people don't recognize it until something goes way wrong. I mean,
Yes.
do you ever get to that point where you're going, hey, I love you, but you need more help than just me?
Yes, I'm aware of that. I've been trained in that, and I know to step back, because it's not good for anybody if I keep trying to stay in this game and it's way over my head. So that's a good point.
Do you find that common, or just here and there? You know, I mean,
Here and there. I've had a few cases of that where, we shake hands and part as friends, and they have to go get really medical help.
Right. One thing I want to ask you about what you do. I saw you talk about core energy coaching. What is that all about? Explain that to me.
I touched on it a little bit a minute ago. Core energy is that, we are all energy. There is nothing in the universe that isn't energy. It's not positive energy or negative energy. It just is. There's higher energy and there's lower energy. When we vibrate in our own space at a higher, more peaceful, more constructive energy, we tend to be more fluid, more at peace, more at ease, and able to draw more positive events to us. Because on Earth, opposites attract. But in the universe, quantum physics, all that stuff, things that are like attract. They put a big deal out many years ago about The Secret, which in theory was a really nice idea. I think they didn't go in depth enough. They just kind of showed you the package. You need to go do the work. But at the core of that, it's all just aligning yourself with the kind of energy that's high, because low energy is dark. You've been into a room, you walk into a room, it's like, ugh. You can almost feel it. You can walk out. And that's the kind of energy a lot of people hang out in. That's destructive energy. It's low energy. It doesn't do anybody any good, especially you.
Where do you find that? I mean, what is selective places to find low and high energy? I mean, where would you say that low energy hangs around, or
Sales.
high energy? Sales?
Jails.
Oh, jails. Jails. Well,
if you're a Red Sox fan and you go to Yankee Stadium, there's probably some negative energy up in there. But it's not like a place. It's you carry it with you. You are exhibiting that kind of an energy. Trees, hard things vibrate at a low energy. Air vibrates at a high energy. Maybe that'll help to make sense. High energy is fluid and flowing. Low energy is destructive. Storms. When the barometric pressure, which is energy, goes down, we have storms. When the energy goes up, it's a blue, beautiful, sunny sky. So maybe that helps to understand that a little more.
The only reason I'm asking is because I've talked to, again, the beauty of this show is I get to talk to a lot of people, and everything from, even psychic mediums and people, astrologers, and it's all about energy. And I'm learning more and more about it. Whether people want to believe in it or not, that's up to them. But I kind of am fascinated by it. And a lot of times I've had people say, people who are drug addicts or alcoholics, they have a lower vibration when you're doing all that. And so, I'm thinking, well, are you saying that people who congregate, when you're in bars, I mean, there's a whole congregation, people are vibrating lower? Because a lot of places, nightclubs and this and that, you can see people are having a good time in their mind. They're having all kinds of fun.
That's a great question. It's not necessarily the environment as much as it is the people that are in the environment. And if you want to say bars where people are drinking and having a good time, there might be under the influence of external stimuli that is kind of making them have a good time. But when that wears off, what is that actually covering up? There's a high energy in the room, but there's a lot of times an underlying lower energy that won't come out in that room. But if you talk to people and they're honest, because you've been in enough bars, people drink to cover up all multitudes of sins, right?
I think I'm talking more about the bars. Like everybody's got their dive bars where you got the same day drinkers. I've learned more about day drinkers. The older people, as they get older, they're there from noon and they're home and by 6 o'clock or 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock but you come back a year later and the same people are there doing the same thing, unless they pass away. Because I've experienced this. I've had people I love very much that they just hung out in that bar and they were happy people, but they just that was their life. I mean, they weren't complaining about it, but is that necessarily a good thing? I guess it's up to them.
It's not what people do, it's who they are. So some of those people in the bar are happy people. Their life is good. They're good. They have high energy. What they're doing is just sitting in a bar and drinking. That's their choice. You can have two people in the bar, day drinkers, you call them. One of them is really cool, really happy, really friendly, always in conversation. Everybody loves the guy. And you got somebody over here who's always drinking like this. Oh man, right? They're both doing the same thing, but one has high energy and one has low energy. So it's not what you do, it's how you are that we're talking about this energy.
Yeah. I just sometimes it bothers me because I've lost a lot of these older people, a few years older, and they just drank their lives away at that same bar. And only because I just heard somebody else say the same thing, that they came back a year later and it was the same people doing the same thing. I could relate to that because I would go back home and visit, and then I try to see a bunch of people, and I knew exactly where to find them. Just go to that little dive bar, and they're sitting in that dive bar, at the same chair, doing the same thing, and not necessarily not happy, but that was it. And I'm going, is this really is it a good thing? I mean, they're harmless, or are they just doing them? There's something going on, and vibrations.
Both.
Yeah.
They have a choice, and maybe they don't care. Like you said earlier, it's nice to have people who do everything in life, right? I wouldn't like to take tolls, but I'm glad that some people are happy doing that. So whatever people do is whatever they feel like they want to do. And you've seen people working at a store, and some people are very happy and vibrant, and they get employed a month and they're happy, and everyone around them is happy. And you see people doing the exact same job and they're miserable. It's not what you're doing. It's who you are. How do you see the world? How do you want to be in the world? And that's also something that people don't know. We actually get a chance to choose how we want to be in the world. If you want to be happy and all these things keep getting in your way, you have that ability to choose. I want to be happy. I want to be vibrant. I want to make a difference. How do I do that? I don't know. I got this dead end job and I'm doing this, but I'm not feeling that. When I was cleaning windows, I had a feeling that I wanted to be more and do more and help more. And that was the opening of my mind and my heart to where coaching found me through taking that flashlight and taking that next indicated step until I found out where I wanted to be.
It's funny because we were talking about happy so much. Last week, I had an author of a book, Suitcase of Happiness. And he was head of Disney Records back in the Little Mermaid days, and he was the shit back then, and things changed, and he reworked himself, and found out that there was more to it than just being that exec in high pressure and all that kind of stuff. And I talk about happiness a lot because it really is a pretty key factor to I don't think anybody wants to be miserable, but yet it either comes and rears its ugly head and stays with you, or it just comes and goes in spurts. And the ability to control and somehow to have a grip on your life, to not let that stuff, a work in progress. I mean, it's just not easy because life throws things at you every day.
It does. It's going to, always.
Yeah.
But how do we react to it? That's our choice.
That's the key.
That's
correct.
The key.
I want to when you talk to people or teach people or help, however you want to consult people, how do you do this, in classes or a one-on-one or both? I mean, I understand that you got something going on in October. What is that all about?
I'm launching a program that is going to help people understand who they are and what they'd like to do. I'm calling it Take Your Midlife Crisis and Turn It into a Midlife Opportunity. We get to a point in life where we're going, is this all there is? And there you go. Is this all there is? You're open now to see what else might be available. And that's what I do as a transition coach, is I help people get from here to there. So we're going to learn some of the tools that I have in my toolkit. We're going to do private coaching. We're going to do group coaching. And it's going to run through the holidays, which might be a little weird, but I think you alluded to it earlier. Holidays are weird, man. People get messed up in the holidays. So it's going to be nice to have that support of people who understand you, people who are on your side, and people who can help you stay on your plane as you traverse those old scripts that our family have written for us. I guess it's an old joke where you got this guy who owns $1 million company, a Forbes $1 billion company, and he runs the whole thing. And then he goes home for the holidays, and he's just like this little kid everybody picks on. But out in the world, he's a big shot. So the idea is to stay who we are, stay in alignment with our authenticity. And that, of course, is going to support people going through this stuff and help remove blocks and help people stay within themselves, have a vision for their future. Who do they want to be? And the tools to be able to traverse that and stay that more often.
When is this all going to start taking place? I mean, being able to register or however you do it.
To be able to register by the end of this week, go to coachdave4u.com/MO for midlife opportunity. And that should be up in the next couple of days. The class will start on October 17th, which I believe is a Monday. In the evening, West Coast time.
You again, you kind of mentioned too, I see a lot of people that are messed up from their upbringing, some kind of family issues. I mean, I hate to say it, but I had an ex and there was a really good woman in there, but there was times when she would say to me, I just want to go to bed and pull the covers over my head. And, especially the holidays when when we were first, and I'm going, and I didn't come from that. And I thank God every day. I mean, everybody's got their problems. It was no, everything was, not the Brady Bunch, but I still think I'm pretty normal in a not normal kind of way, in a good, not normal kind of way, but I don't have those kind of things. And I couldn't understand it. You don't know what people go through as children and what, crazy shit that goes on. And then you got to deal with it because they just can't let it go as adults.
They can. And we work with that. I can work with that. Again, it's not what happened to us. It's how we respond to it. And if we're still responding now to something that happened 30 years ago, that's not a good thing. We want to be here now. So we can work with that. We can help get you back to where you were. And it doesn't even really matter where you got it. It's yours now. So if you really want to get rid of that, put it in its place, then let's talk. I can help with that.
Wow. Yeah. There's again, you got to have somebody who's willing to open up, willing to talk, because a lot of people hold this stuff inside, and I think it's very sad, and you don't find out until it's too late. This is, and again, with the holidays, that's very important to me because I've witnessed too much of people having a really mental rough time with the holidays because their life was, in their minds, shit when before the holidays, on normal days, and the holidays just amplify things because in your mind it's all about love and family get-togethers and being with the kids, and when you can't be with the kids because of this or that, and all of a sudden you're alone, and a lot of people can't handle alone. Real quick, because time is flying, let me ask you about, were you doing this kind of sort of during the pandemic too, when people were alone?
Yes.
So how'd that work? I mean, how were people? Because I just read a thing, if you can be alone, you're pretty, you're Superman. I mean, if you can enjoy being alone. And somebody said to me, if you don't enjoy being alone, it's because you don't like the company you're keeping, so, but what were you dealing with? Some people go crazy. They cannot, that pandemic, being at the house and not getting out, there's a lot of bad stuff going on.
A lot of times it's really just having somebody to talk to. I was there, I would talk to them. And your friend is absolutely right. It's a flip answer, but he's absolutely right. Because this is the company. So there's a difference between being alone and being lonely. Being alone, that just means you're by yourself. Being lonely, that means generally you need something else or somebody else to help you be full. Again, that's something that I can work with because we are complete just the way we are, especially if we're willing to go in and find that love this and embrace it. It's a beautiful thing.
Well, it is. I think, again, a lot of people, you have to be willing and you have to be aware that you want to be willing. And a lot of people just go and crawl in their own holes, and they're so used to crawling in that hole and just covering themselves up. And unless somebody catches on and goes, that cares enough, especially sometimes family gets, they go, oh, it's so-and-so on the phone. I don't want to hear him. I don't want to hear it again. And that's not necessarily a good thing, but pros and cons of family. They just know you too well, and they need a stranger. You need somebody who can understand and go, we're not family, so I'm not going to take this personally. But we are once again running out of time. The time I told you was going to fly before you know it. I want to be able to tell everybody how to get a hold of Coach Dave. And Dave, right down there, Coach Dave, for www.coachdave4u.com with the number 4, not the word 4. And again, tell everybody about when they can find you at this website and they can see your classes and everything else you have to offer. Is that correct?
Yeah, you can get in touch with me. I love to talk. I love the conversation. I'm willing to offer. I will offer for your listeners a free coaching session. If you want to see what it's all about, if you want to experience it, it's not just, hi, how you doing? What are you looking for? We're actually going to sit down and I will show you the coaching experience. I will let you experience. It's a full-on coaching session. So give me a call. If you want to do that, it's Coach Dave for you /chat. Find a time in my calendar and we'll make that happen. If you're intrigued about coming to my class, Coach Dave for you /MO for midlife opportunity, and I'll give you more information about that. But absolutely reach out. Absolutely be vulnerable, be brave, and take care of yourself. And when you're good and you've taken care of yourself, it's amazing the good that you can spread out to your family and the friends and the rest of your life and live this life with that high, loving, constructive energy.
I think it takes a lot of guts for somebody to pick up the phone and say, I need help, or I think I need help. That takes a lot of guts. I mean, a lot of people, that's the problem. They're afraid to pick up that phone and say, you know what? I think I could fix this. I just need some help.
Sometimes it just gets to the point where the pain is too much. You've got to do something. I can't do this anymore. Talk to the single dad. I can't do this anymore. I have to make a change. And that's an okay place to make the call also. Pick up the phone, pick up the pen, write out into the internet, reach out to somebody and have a conversation. I'd love to talk to you. If we're not a fit, then that's okay too. But at least you started and at least you're understanding what might be involved. And then you can go find somebody else that's a good fit for you. I might even know somebody, but reach out.
Well, I guess the point being, you got to start somewhere. And yes. I got you right here and you're willing to help if there's people that want to have help. Once again, last time, because time is flying. If you want to reach Coach Dave, you go to www.coachdave4u.com, and he will get back to you. I mean, your phone number is you have a phone number right there. You have the website that has all these opportunities you're talking about, correct? Everything is doable from that website if they want to find you.
If you're brave enough to reach out, I'm on top of it enough to get back to you and see what I can do to help. Absolutely.
Right, because I've realized that there's, all my Peterisms isn't, it's I need help. I'm going to send Pepsi. I need help, but the help I need, I'm going to send Pepsi to you because that boy needs a long talking to right there. Yeah, there he is, Mr. Funny Man. There you go. So once I get that straightened out, I got smooth sailing. But it's like the child I didn't have. I got one, and she's great, but this one drives me nuts. And
it's always the second one.
It's it. Well, yeah. The man's nuts. Grab him. There you go. He likes that too. All right. Here we go. So again, Dave, I want to thank you for coming on to the show, taking the time to share some of your knowledge and enlighten people. Again, in my mind, if we helped one person, I can go to bed at night and say I did something of worth, which I know that it's going to be way more than that, just to it open up somebody's mind to getting to that stage. That everybody, I remember even Bono from U2, when his father used to say, he says, everybody needs a little help. And that's the truth. I need help from whatever, whether it's the show or I mean, I'm so thankful for so many people in my life that have helped me, do what I'm trying to do, and or a shoulder to cry on, or whatever. And I'm very, very, I thank God for that every single day. I don't let that slide, even though I'm still a mess, but I'm a decent mess. I mean, I'm workable, moldable still. But again,
because
I
you want to. Thank you.
I do.
Yeah.
I want to ask you one last thing, and then I gotta let you go. If you could leave anybody with anything to think about before I let you go, what could that possibly be?
What do you see for yourself in your dream state? What is it that you really see? You know what? You got this. You can do it, whatever it is. Have faith.
Faith. Wouldn't help. It doesn't hurt to have a little bit of support around you too, if you can.
Absolutely. You don't have to do it by yourself.
Yeah. Some people just don't, though. That's the problem. They're loners, and it's hard to see, again, because they stay so secluded that you don't really know what's going on until it's too late. All right. It's the same basic principle for all of them. It's seeking help, and Coach Dave's here to help you. Ladies and gentlemen, take a good look. Oops, where'd he go? Take a good look at that face one last time. Coach Dave, for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Again, I truly appreciate this. Maybe next year sometime we can catch up again. I don't think we'll ever reach everybody, so we're just one person at a time going out there and spreading the word. But it's all positivity. So I thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Too.
All right, Dave. Thank you. We'll talk to you soon. All right. Bye-bye. Last time, folks, Coach Dave for you right there. You can get a hold of him, www.coachdave4u.com, and he's more than happy to he'll give you a free consultation. It's like, I mean, what more do you want than that? He's putting his hand out to you, but you got to meet him halfway. And the rest is up to you. You got to want to be the best you, or at least attempt to be somebody. If you're not happy, obviously you need this. So I strongly suggest you contact Coach Dave. You can write to us through the show too. I want to know how everybody's doing. I love everybody because they take the time to watch and pay attention, because they're seeking knowledge. We're all learning. So Coach Dave for you right there. Speaking of Coach Dave and sending him off to camp, let's go see what the hell Pepsi's doing. Where are you? Oh, hi, Pepsi.
What great information, huh? Coach Dave, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm thinking, what are you doing next week?
I'm signing up for Coach Dave's workshop there. Yeah.
Right. No, I'm right, because again, the problem, the issue, and that we're dealing with over here, and again, I'll just remind you, but here it is.
You need a job.
No, I don't want a job.
Well, I know.
It's so much work.
This is my new go-to video right there. Right there. Yeah, it's like,
and where's my donut?
Yeah, it's like
oh my God.
Brick had his crack, Butt had Jeff, and I got Pepsi, and it's like,
you need a job.
No, I don't want a job.
Well, I know.
It's so much work.
Well, no.
Well, no, it's so much work.
Pepsi, I need you to do this. I say, I'm really busy.
Phil, do this. Phil, do that. It's always
but
Phil's fault.
Here's all you care.
Can a bitch get a donut?
Who loves you, Peter G? You're the bestest in the westest. You know that?
Yeah, tell me that off the film. Okay.
Yes.
I think it was a good show tonight for those in need, and a lot of people, again, don't realize that they have the opportunities in front of them, but they do. And I thank Coach Dave for allowing himself to come onto this show and bring it to people's attention that, there are people out there for you. There's more than just hotlines and this and that. There are people that actually do care and will listen to, and pay attention to try to help you. But
Well, absolutely, and he's totally 100% correct, right? I mean, it's if you think about it, it's up to you and only you to have a nice day, right? I mean,
Yeah, but I get it, but tell that to the guy who just offed himself because he was having issues and he thought that was the the best way out, and he left 3 kids behind. And
well,
and,
right.
That's the stuff that like wait too little, too late. Unfortunately, we couldn't get to him.
Yeah, unfortunately, but Coach Dave can, right? So hopefully you're a high energy person, and right. Everybody could use this help, right?
That's why we do this show. It's a public service announcement right here. Life of Peter G, the Peter G Show, every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, and 9 o'clock on the East Coast. I don't like doing that.
Yeah, who loves you, baby?
Yeah, pretty much.
High five.
Yeah, high five. All right, thank you.
All right, okay.
All right, So, like I said, I need Coach Dave because sometimes I gotta because we're too close, and I gotta let somebody else intervene and get to the bottom of this mess. But anything you want to leave everybody with? You got anything for us before we go? Because this was a quick one tonight because I had a lot of information to get to with Coach Dave, so we just kind of blew you in and blowing you out.
Yeah, thank you, Coach Dave, for all the great information, and just always be kind. Who loves you?
Yeah, who loves you? Hear me now? Hear me?
Hear me?
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Outstanding. Like,
That's for next show.
Yeah,
he's going to be on the show, by the way. I don't know if you know that, but he's going to be on the show.
Yeah, but I just saw that's not till next year because we's booked.
Right, right, exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. Sorry, inside joke that we're just keep on. It makes us laugh.
Say goodnight, Peter.
Yeah, say goodnight, Peter.
Good night, Peter.
Good night, Peter. Oops, there you go. There he is. One more time, folks. The one and only. That's right. The don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, he is responsible for the Pepsi hairdo. Farrah Fawcett owes everything to him and the hairdo. Had it not been for Pepsi's hairdo in the 70s and 80s, there'd be no Farrah Fawcett do. So there you go. Be thankful right there, ladies and gentlemen, right there. The Pepsi. That hairdo was named the Pepsi. Just trying to help.
All righty then.
Yeah, all righty then. I'll see you in a little bit.
Over and out.
Yeah, go over and out. 10-4. We did it. We did it. We did it. Good stuff. I hope you take it to heart. I really do, because I don't just do this to hear myself. I bring people on, quality people on to help you. There's a lot of people, and if not you, I know everybody knows somebody, because I know, I do many. Life's a bitch. Just, if it's not you, look for the people that do need it and suggest, help somebody. Put your hand out and lead them to people like Coach Dave or watching these shows and all the above, because it's just good to hear that they're not alone. Everybody goes through stuff. Speaking of going through stuff, I'm going to remind you guys next Wednesday, September 28th, Fran Martell, we're going to put that show back on. Relationship issues, abuse. Her ex-boyfriend calls up. Shit hits the fan. It was a deep show, and I would tune in and watch this show. Fran Martell, and she's easy on the eyes, but I would not. I'm prepping you because we're going to start getting into relationship issues, divorce, all the above. We're coming into the times, as we talked about with Coach Dave, the holidays. Wednesday, September 28th, Fran Martell. That show is going to be put on because I want to warm you guys up with relationship issues, and because October 5th, the following week, Wednesday, October 5th, live from the Gulf Coast, I'm going to have Valerie on. She's newly divorced, freshly divorced, and she is pissed still. And she's got a lot of venting she wants to do, and she wants to share her story. And we're not going to take sides, but she's going to share her story. And it's like divorce wars, and we're talking long-term marriage. Everything went to hell. Everything got burned to the ground, so to speak. And I'm doing this because I want people to understand and to learn that it's not just you. And she's willing to share her story. So damn if we're not going to put her up here so she can share it and enlighten you, because it's another life lesson. I went through it. Even Coach Dave went through it. Pepsi, They kick Pepsi out. Pepsi didn't go through nothing. He just goes through life, just hopping along, stoned a lot. And he's happy with that. And hence he's on the show. So, because he's happy. His form of happiness. But I suggest you tune in the next couple of weeks. It's all about relationships gone bad. And that's a big deal. Remember, you can't watch the Peter G Show, which I so dearly love you for doing that. Tune into the podcast. Go find the podcast if you can't find the live shows. You don't have to watch live. You can pull up these shows on demand anywhere. YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebooks, BitChutes. All the shorts are on Instagram, TikToks, all that kind of stuff. But just Google Peter G Show. But if you want to take it while you're in the car, Google Peter G Show podcast. Find one of the podcast platforms and just take the show on the road with you while you're at work. Who the hell wants to be at work? You can listen to Peter G Show. It's darn exciting stuff. I promise you that. So do that and everybody's happy. It's a good world. Let's keep it a better place. I'm Peter G. I want to thank you for watching Life with Peter G, the Peter G Show. See you next Wednesday, same bat time, same bat channel. You're going to love these next couple of weeks because they're nail biters. That kind of goes off the rails, but it's worth it because, again, it's not just you that everybody has their pieces of hell, but you want to kind of step out of it. You got a taste of it, you learn from it, and you move on. And that's why we do this show. I want to remind you, you don't have to take a bunch of crap from anybody. You don't have to put up with it, but you don't have to be an ass either. Just take a breath before you speak. Something I'm learning every day still. Sometimes I do real well. Sometimes I don't. But you don't have to be an ass and just let things go. Sometimes it's better to take a breath and think before you speak and not, pick your battles and decide what you want to do. But I'm Peter G, and I want to thank you. And as always, 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 I love you guys.
Peter G Show.